Hello everyone, hello from beautiful Guatemala. I'm popping in here today because I feel like I'd like to share with you about authentic relating, about one of the most beautiful and profound spaces of connection I've experienced in my journey of venturing out into the wild 3.5 years ago, leaving my job in IT in order to look for something that would feel more meaningful to me, that would feel like it was actually speaking to my heart. And I remember it was in that phase of exploration that a friend of mine came along and said, "Sorry, you should really come. You should come to Authentic Relating." And I was like, "What the hell is that?" And he's like, "I cannot really explain it. Nobody really can explain it, but you should really, really come and experience it. It is profound." And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna come and I'm gonna see what this is. I'm here to explore, right? And I still remember, coming into this space and how deeply healing even that first encounter with this practice was for me, because it felt like, all these years I'd been trying to fit into a box of some kind of stiffness and rationality and some kind of mentalness, and sort of trying to suppress other sides of myself, like my authenticity, my emotionality, my intuition. And suddenly there was this space in which those parts of me were not just welcome, they were actually a strength. And they were a strength that I have used and continue to use to this day to heal myself by participating, and in the last 2.5 years also hosting such authentic relating spaces. And so what is authentic relating? It is a relational practice, a relational meditation practice. So you can imagine it a little bit like going into meditation in your own space and time at home, and just noticing what goes on in this body, in these emotions, in this mind, in this intuitive, imaginative side of myself. And just noticing. But this time, because you are in a context with other people, what we do is we share. And as we share what we find from this space of deep intimacy with ourselves, with one another, we create very deep trust. And we also create a space in which we can explore that impact that we have on others and that others have on us. And in a space of very deep ownership, where we are able to really, each of us, take full responsibility of our own experience in that space, and have nobody coming in and healing us, teaching us, telling us what we're supposed to be doing or how we're supposed to go about it. However, there are some principles to this work, and I want to quickly share them with you, because you might even reach for them if you're familiar with authentic relating, and and you want to kind of practice it with some friends or with some close ones. I hope that this recording can help you to remind yourself of the principles of this work. And there are 5 principles. So the first principle is commitment to connection. So as you sit in relating with one or a few other people, it can be a bigger circle, sort of calling in this commitment to connection. And what that means is about being fully present and aware of what goes on within ourselves as we relate with others. And also committing to connection with them. Committing to connection with what goes on with them, with what goes on in this relation with them. And also that commitment includes noticing and naming the experience of disconnection when it happens, and getting curious about it. What does that tell me? What does that experience of disconnection tell me about me? What does it tell me about this context I'm in? What is happening here that is making me disconnect? And what can I learn from it? And that is the first principle. And it can even involve like standing out and walking out of connection and then returning back in. And as you walk out of that connection, just remaining with a piece of your awareness into what's going on here. What's going on as I, go behind here and lie on my back. Why am I doing it? What is causing this? So this is the first principle. The second principle is about being with the body, being with the sensations. And what that is, it's about welcoming the wisdom of the body, welcoming, the sensations that come as we relate with one another to guide us into some things that might have not yet made it or never make it to our conscious awareness, that actually contain the wisdom of this body that is sensing more than our mind is able to sense about what goes on here. And that being with the body can include just noticing and naming the sensations, like being with you here now, I'm noticing a heat around my belly, for example. Or it can mean allowing the body to move and to express more, the voice to express more. Even if it doesn't make any sense, just letting it be there, having it sit with us in the space. The third principle is about welcoming any energy. So what that means is that as we get together in this embodied space of connection, things get stirred up within us. And those things, they can be playful and joyful and loving and caring. And they can also be deeply painful. They can be angry, they can be fearful, they can be sad. And just what is it like if we welcome all of them as they are, and we express all of them as they are. And as we do, one of the aspects of this work is that it can create conflict with others. And what is it like to allow ourselves to come into conflict, being in a culture that avoids it usually at all costs? And what can we learn about ourselves as we allow ourselves to be in that? So this is the third principle. The fourth principle is about being with the other in their world. So as we stand facing another or a group of people, can we attune to the person who's speaking? Can we allow ourselves to sense what is the impact that this person is having on me? And why is it so that this person is impacting me in this way? And can I remain connected with them as I explore that? Can I remain in connection with this person that is speaking? Seeing what is it like to be that person? And what is it like to be me, meeting that person? And the last principle is about owning our experience. It's about taking responsibility, really, about everything that we experience in this present moment. Seeing others as mirrors for ourselves. If anything triggers us in what another says, what does that tell me about me? If I have a judgment about the other and I notice it, what does that tell me about me? If I believe something, I have a guess or a assumption about another. Just accepting that might not really be true. Or even if it's true, what does it tell me about me rather than what does it tell me about them? So just seeing each other as this, extensions of ourselves, as this divine mirror that we get to kind of look into and learn a bit more about ourselves. So those are the 5 principles of this work. And and the way that you can practice this with another is just allowing for some silence between you and remembering these principles, and then just seeing where it takes you. And some phrases that can be useful in doing that are: being with you here now, I notice, and hearing you say this, I notice. And maybe I'm going to give you a very short example of how this looks like. Being with you here now, I notice some tension in my chest. There's a lot of movement going on there, and it's a little bit painful. It's kind of like around the edges of my heart and moving towards my solar plexus. There's this tension. And as I sit with it, I notice there is some sadness coming along. Some sadness for hanging out around the edge of my heart with you. Of not really being able to drop in fully into it, as I cannot really see you right now. And and noticing the way that contrasts with the smile that I have on my face. And I'm noticing, judging myself about that smile. As if what I'm experiencing in my chest is more true than what is happening on my face. And as I say that, I wonder if that's so. And I'm noticing like this sense of like as if being squeezed in over here, like in this area of my body. It's like almost like a squeezing going on. And some relief coming in. And I notice my voice is coming from a deeper space as I share all of this with you. And I think I'm going to wrap up around here. It's been a long share. But I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you're interested in this, I often host spaces like this in the Connection Playground online, where we do these small groups of people get together, do this practice, explore it. And sometimes I offer also journeys to deepen into the practice, to really explore each of those 5 principles in more detail, to do this practice together, to have this space for one-on-one interaction as well. And they usually take 5 or 6 weeks. And there's one that's running right now, coming up this Friday, that you can hop onto if this calls you. And if it doesn't, I hope to see you another time for the next one. And I hope that my share today has brought up something for you, has brought up another layer of reality that you might wish to explore with others and with yourself. Thank you so much, and see you soon.